set out to accomplish something, you're going to encounter two type of people. People that's on the way and somebody that's in the way. Right now, they're in our way. What we going to do about it, man? Let's go out here. Like I say each and every week, linebackers at the top. Hit him. Linebackers at the top. Hit him.
36-year-old London Fletcher of the Washington Redskins, his 217th consecutive game about to take place. 75 degrees, will hit 80 today. Temperature with winds up to 15 miles per hour. Mike Shanahan's team will start on defense as Miami won the toss.
And they need to stop the bleeding, that being the Washington Redskins. 4 consecutive losses. And look, Miami's a 1-7 football team. But they've certainly been close. They could easily be 4-4. Tony Sperano knows he got his best effort from his football team, Chris, last week in that big win over Kansas City. I think this is going to be a very tight and exciting football game.
And Rex Grossman, who was battling pneumonia at one point, lost 7 or 8 pounds, was in the hospital, was pale, was weak. Said before in pregame warmups he's healthier, anxious to go, excited for this opportunity. And Matt Moore out extra early because the wind, he said it was breezier today than during the week in practice. Wanted to make sure he was comfortable throwing it.
And this is only his 18th start, and he looked like he was throwing the ball fine to me. I was down there talking to him before the game as well. He's got such a better feel of Brian Daboll's offense. Was a late signing. Man, he was terrific in Kansas City last week with the 3 touchdowns.
So Dan Carpenter is kicking off. Brandon Banks back for the Redskins, so Mike Shanahan's team instead starting on offense. Mike Shanahan has never lost 5 straight games. The Dolphins are trying to end a 7-game home losing streak, and we're underway in South Florida as Banks will down it and the Redskins will take over on offense. So we'll get a look at Rex Grossman right away, starting from the 20-yard line. 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, lost 2 fumbles.
Yeah, well, the ball security is the thing. I don't care who's starting at quarterback. Ryan Torain and that offensive line have to provide something in the running game. You have the 4 consecutive losses. They've run for 53 yards a game, Chris. That is not going to cut it. Of course, Maurice Hurt, the rookie, starting at left guard. Corey Lichtensteiger's been lost on injured reserve. Sean Locklear out at right tackle for Jamal Brown.
Ryan Torain with the carry and gets out near the 25-yard line. We'll see Roy Halou later in the game. Leonard Hankerson, University of Miami, the rookie draft pick with more than 50 friends and family here, getting his 2nd straight start at wide receiver.
Yeah, 5 catches for him. The guy's got big-time heat. Now, this is where I talked about, and heat being speed. This is where I talked about Rex Grossman being an asset for these young guys. There's going to be a lot of blitz pressure in this game, which means adjustment routes by the wide receivers. Rex Grossman should be able to help Hankerson in that area.
On 2nd down 5, it'll be Torain again. Slips 1 tackle, but is knocked down after maybe a yard of progress on that. As we check the Dolphin defense, Randy Starks up front, probably the most consistent defender all season long.
Yeah, no question about it. He is really starting to play well. He went to the Pro Bowl last year. The linebackers, Cameron Wake having somewhat of a down year, but still I think a work in progress. Those 2 inside guys, Burnett and Dansby, were outstanding against the Chiefs last week. They get Vontae Davis back, the corner, with a hamstring. He's missed 4 of the last 6 games with a hamstring and a discipline issue, Chris, as you know, last week.
And Roy Halou checks in on 3rd and 4. Pressure on Grossman, and he goes down. In for the sack, Kevin Burnett. Make that Carlos Dansby, not Kevin Burnett, excuse me.
Well, and Dansby's been outstanding here. You look at the screen, and these guys bring the pressure. He's over to the side there on the left, and he just comes unblocked. Sean Locklear out there at right tackle for Jamal Brown. He blocked out. Dansby came in, and Rex Grossman had about a 2.5 seconds before 58 was in his grill for the sack.
2nd sack of the season for Dansby, who's 2nd on the team in tackles. So Sam Rocca, Boost, and Devon Bess from inside the Miami 40. 45 yards away from a touchdown, as Matt Moore will have excellent field position. Matt Moore stepping in, of course, after Chad Henne was injured earlier in the season. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, completing passes at about 61%.
Yeah, and Brandon Marshall, his go-to guy. Most of their routes designed for Brandon clearly to be the first read. They're loving Mike Pouncey at center. Jake Long, the big left tackle, Chris, his best game by far last week against Tamba Hali and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right at the 45-yard line, rookie Daniel Thomas is the running back. And they bump into each other. The flip goes back to Matt Moore. Brandon Marshall is open, incomplete. A creative play to start that nets nothing.
Well, and you got nothing to lose, a little razzle-dazzle. Reggie Bush is out wide, so immediately as he comes in motion, they run a little reverse action. Then it's a flip back to Matt Moore. And because of the bobble on the first exchange to Reggie Bush, good job there by D'Angelo Hall. But because of the exchange problem, as they tried to get it to Reggie, it screwed the whole timing up of the play. And they were late getting it to Brandon Marshall, who was wide open early on that route.
So Reggie Bush on second down. It'll be third and about 7 for the Dolphins.
And really, it's something as minute as that, Chris. Football is certainly a game of details, and you screw up the mesh point trying to get it to Reggie, threw the whole timing of the thing off, and really probably left a touchdown on the field. Defensively, these guys are playing outstanding when you look at these 3 defensive linemen. I think Bowen's playing at a Pro Bowl level. The outside backers are clicking in the rookie Kerrigan and Brian Arakpo. Perry Riley getting the start in there for Rocky McIntosh. And then the secondary, especially down the middle, their safeties have had some issues. I expect Miami to attack that area.
Hey, Redskins show pressure on third down. It's picked up, so Moore has time, middle of the field for Brandon Marshall. Inside the 20 of the Redskins. First down for Miami after a 26-yard connection.
And that's where you love that 6'5" target in Brandon Marshall over the middle. Just some zone as you see the guys dropping off in zone. Now D'Angelo Hall gets spun one way. As soon as his hips turn to the outside, you see that Marshall cuts to the inside. D'Angelo Hall couldn't recover. It's a nice throw from Matt Moore.
47th catch of the year for Marshall. And Reggie Bush the back. Quick pass to Marshall. He'll lose yardage behind the 20. Perry Riley, who you just mentioned in for McIntosh, came up to make the stop.
Yeah, 4th-round pick a couple of years ago. Talking to Jim Haslett yesterday, so this guy deserves opportunity. We want to get him out there. We want to see what he can do. And I'll tell you the good thing, if you're Perry Riley, is you're stepping in and playing with a good defense already. And being a young player, that's a major asset in having 10 other experienced and good players around you.
Defensive coordinator Jim Haslett, see what he dials up here on 2nd and 14 for the Dolphins from the Redskins 21.
Redskins have been great in the red zone this year, 2nd in the NFL.
Hand off to Bush, and there goes Reggie. Inside the 10-yard line. LaRon Landry ran him down for the safety spot. Bush came in, averaging just under 5 yards a carry.
Well, and they're learning. Brian Daboll is learning how to use Reggie Bush. They're going to influence, so everybody's going to block to the left. Watch the right guard, just a little okey-doke. They block down. Reggie misdirection, cuts back. It was a wicked move right there on D'Angelo Hall to punch it down inside the 10-yard line.
After a 12-yard run, it's now 3rd and 2, Miami.
I'll tell you where you've been surprised about Reggie Bush, or at least some folks have. His ability to run between the tackles, Chris, has been terrific.
Well, and he said he likes to do that. He can't live on that, but he enjoys doing it. Moore. Complete. That's Reggie Bush. First down. He runs, he catches. The Dolphins hope that he scores. 1st and goal.
You know, it's interesting talking to Jim Haslett. He said, how do you prepare for Reggie Bush in his new role? And Reggie, loves being a running back first and all that stuff. He said, what we did is we went back and watched Cleveland over the last 2 years, where Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator of the Dolphins, was. And we watched how he used cribs, especially on the space plays. They feel like they got some good preparation indicators.
Daniel Thomas has it, fakes a throw, does throw, and a flag goes down. Thomas recruited as an option quarterback
if that ball got back to the line of scrimmage, he can throw it out. He's outside of the pocket. It's not intentional grounding if it got back to the line of scrimmage.
There's no intentional grounding on the play. The quarterback was out of the pocket. The ball was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. However, personal foul, horse collar tackle. Number 56, defense, measured half the distance to the ball. Automatic, first down.
Carl Jeffers all over the description, calling a horse collar on Perry Riley.
Yeah, and there it is right there. You grab the back of the jersey, and as soon as those knees buckle, they're going to call that every time. That was smart, though. That was smart by Daniel Thomas, knowing he's out of the pocket, knowing the quarterback rules, knowing he needed to get it out of bounds, and was able to throw it away. That was heads up.
Impressive opening drive for the Dolphins. They're just inside the 3. Fresh set of downs on 1st and goal. Brandon Marshall is out.
Oh, what a mismatch. Throw the fade to Brandon Marshall.
They're going to go to Reggie Bush, and there's not a lot of room in the middle. He keeps chugging.
Head down.
It'll be 2nd down.
Did you see who they had out there lined up on Brandon Marshall? Brandon Marshall, a 6'5", phenomenal receiver. They had the safety Reed Dowdy out there in one-on-one coverage. Should have been an easy read for Matt Moore just to throw it up and let your guy go win.
Reggie went into the pile, came out with a shoe off. 8th play of this drive.
Watch a Rakpo, number 98. You reach down, you grab a leg. These defensive players, you're trying to tear that leg off. He's going to end up tearing the shoe off.
Dolphins inside the 1 on 2nd and goal, and we're going to have a timeout here. Miami calling for it, and we'll adjust the shoe. Return. Dolphins with a opening drive for them on a short field after their defense did the job. They hope their offense can punch it in inside the 20 in the red zone.
And have not been good in that area, but you go back to their last 4 trips down here in the last couple of games, they've been 4 for 4.
Reggie Bush on 2nd and goal. That is a touchdown. Miami. No problem with the red zone there.
Well, they get the edge player down. Watch Brian Orakpo and LaRon Landry in particular on the edge. Here comes LaRon Landry crashing down. Richie Incognito is able to hit him. Orakpo got pinned down on the inside by Jake Long, and Reggie sees it, bounces, and he gets that kind of open space. There's no chance you're even going to touch him.
And Dan Carpenter's extra point makes it 7-0. Miami with a short field. Reggie Bush's 2nd rushing touchdown of the year. The Dolphins with Reggie Bush, who told us still figuring out my identity here with this Miami team. And in the end zone, he figured it out. 7-0 Dolphins, capping a drive after their defense did its job.
Man, losing's been hard on him. I'm talking to him on Friday, said, I'm not going to lie, it blows. This has been horrible.
Said it was like being in quicksand. Well, the Dolphins are climbing their way out of it after last week and so far. So Rex Grossman, who's yet to throw a pass, is trailing here in South Florida. Redskin defense came into the weekend 13th in the NFL. And Miami on its first possession marches 45 yards in for a touchdown. So Rex Grossman with the 2nd Redskin offensive possession. Ryan Terrain the back on 1st and 10 from the 20. Grossman's throw is complete. That's Leonard Hankerson. And there's a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 96, defense, lowered his head to punish the quarterback. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
That's on Paul Soliai.
Wow, he hits Rex Grossman right in the shoulder here. Let's see if he hits him with his face mask or with the crown of his helmet. That is a tough call on Paul Soliai.
Looked like he didn't lead with
No,
the head.
he did not. And he did not hit Rex anywhere in the head. He did not dip his hat. Being a former defensive lineman, I don't know how you do it any different. I mean, if you're Paul Soliai, that was perfect, in my opinion.
So with the penalty
call
and the completion, Tim, it's a 32-yard gain all the way inside Miami territory. Grossman has it in the pocket. And complete to Jabbar Gaffney. Inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line of the Dolphins.
What a throw. And that's what I talked about in terms of driving it down the field. Watch him throw this just high enough over the backer who's going to reach for it. Carlos Dansby right over his hands and dropping it in the breadbasket to Jabbar Gaffney. Look at Rex stand tall in the pocket and step into that. Absolutely perfect. Of all of Beck's 47 throws last week, Chris, not one went over 20 yards. You know why Rex is back.
A 20-yard gain right there. Terrain. It's cut down right away. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Another AFC East, NFC East matchup. Bills at the Cowboys. Tony Romo, and what a catch from Des Bryant. Goes up, just pulls that one in. 34 yards on the reception. Dallas on top of the Bills. 7-0, Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. And the Redskins get the Cowboys next week. Washington trying to end that 4-game losing skid. Second down, 11. Hankerson has it. Down to the 20-yard line. It'll bring it third and short.
That's another good play by Rex Grossman. Understanding the offense that they're sending a free runner. Now look, there is a blitz coming off the edge with Sean Smith. You'll see at the top right of your screen. Watch the corner come. Rex knows they've got nobody to block him, so he's got to get the ball out quick. And a good adjustment by Leonard Hankerson as well. Just a little in-cut and under route. Rex is off to a good start in the passing game.
And the former Hurricane with a couple of catches on 3rd and 2. Roy Halou checks in at running back, the rookie from Nebraska. And Grossman goes down. Second sack of the game for the Dolphins.
Whoa, Daddy, what's that?
Jared Odrick with his 3rd sack of the year.
And he's been coming on, and they got him matched up on the rookie left guard, Maurice Hurt, 79, the left guard. Watch Odrick just go right by him. I mean, he just gets in between he and Trent Williams and just powers through. And again, Rex can't even get to his back step. That's the second sack where he can't even get to his back step before the guy's in his face.
So Graham Gano, who made a 59-yarder last week, a Redskin record, will try from 50. It's a natural grass field. Slight breeze. That is not good. The Redskins waste a scoring opportunity. The Dolphin defensive pressure with the big sack.
Coordinator Kyle Shanahan sitting down and going over the pictures with Rex Grossman, who's off to a fine start, obviously, but has taken 2 sacks. And there's Jared Odrick. That is a huge sack down in the scoring zone, really pushing them further away for the field goal opportunity. Not so sure about the play call, though. 3rd and 2 with a 5-step drop, maybe not the right call.
Reggie Bush will lose, and here comes a penalty flag. Bush has run 4 times for 16 yards already, including a touchdown.
There are 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Illegal formation. The tight end was covered up on the end of the line. Holding number 68 offense. That penalty will be accepted. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
Call accepted on Richie Incognito. It'll back Miami up. Excellent field position starting out. And now they'll be back at the 30-yard line. And a 1st and 20 for Matt Moore. 3 out of 4 so far. Protecting a 7-0 advantage. Reggie Bush has it. The Redskins are there, and another loss. They were ready for that. Perry Riley in on the tackle.
Well, he sniffed it out as that play was starting to develop. Perry Riley saw it the whole way. Watch 56 here. He's right in the middle of your screen. He's got Reggie Bush in man coverage. So you see he's stalking Reggie. He sees the screen develop. He just puts his foot on the gas and shoots his gun and gets right in there. And Reggie can't even turn around. And Perry Riley's already on him for the tackle for loss.
So after a loss of 7, Daniel Thomas checks in, the rookie from Kansas State. Orakpo is in, the ball is out. Miami's on top of it to recover the fumble. Richie Incognito recovered it as Ryan Kerrigan caused it.
And that'll be the matchup, Chris. It'll be a problem all day for the Miami Dolphins. Kerrigan is having an outstanding rookie season. He's going to go right around Mark Colombo here, who's certainly been the soft spot in the Miami offensive line. What a great job by Ryan Kerrigan, number one, at getting to the edge and having that dip and balance, but now watch him swat at the ball with his right hand. He's learning all the great ones in this league. You put your left hand on, secure the tackle, use the other hand to swat the ball out as he did right there. That's picture perfect.
That's the rookie's 4th sack of the year, so the defensive adjustments for Washington have put Miami in a hole here on 3rd and 31. High snap, but Moore has it. And that is intercepted by Kevin Barnes. Kevin Barnes down near the 5-yard line of the Dolphins. Matt Moore looked like his arm was hit as he released the ball.
Yeah, I believe it was. Barry Cofield rushing from the nose guard position. They're in prevent defense. They got guys 30 yards off the ball. Here comes the pressure from Cofield right there in the middle of your screen. Going to throw a little arm over, then get his hands up and get right in Matt Moore's face. And what it forces Matt Moore to do, Chris, is throw off his back foot. Doesn't get a lot of zip on the ball, underthrows it. And Barnes comes down with the interception and then able to run it down to the 5-yard line.
His 2nd pick of the year.
Hey!
And the 5th interception for Moore so far this season. On 1st and goal from the 5. Ryan Terrain. It'll be 2nd and goal, Redskins. Washington has had trouble scoring. In fact, 2nd worst in the NFL getting first quarter points.
They've been awful. 13 first quarter points in 8 games. Absolutely brutal.
One of the reasons Mike Shanahan made the change, going back to Rex Grossman after being benched for the last 3 games. Ryan Terrain. Dolphins create a wall to force a 3rd and goal.
You're just not going to push Big Soliai back. You're just not going to. 350, 360 pounds, the big nose tackle. And Terrain looked like he ran into a brick wall.
4 carries for Terrain, make that 5 carries and only 9 yards. So the Dolphin defense doing the job there. 2 tight ends and 2 fullbacks here. So you can guess where they're going.
Well, don't go with Soliai. That would be my advice.
Terrain. Touchdown, Redskins. There is a flag.
They're going to get a hold on Darrell Young or Logan Paulson on the edge. Right in front of the line judge.
Number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty. 3-feet 3rd down.
As a former defensive lineman, you love to call it out when those guys hold.
Well, and Chris, it's obvious anytime it's right at the point of attack. Watch the left side of your screen here. He's going to hold Jeremiah Bell. He's in trouble right from the get-go by coming off with wide hands. I mean, you can start out wide, but you've got to immediately reinsert your hands back inside. He wraps him up and then holds on to Jeremiah Bell.
And
that's
Bell,
an easy call for the line judge.
Bell was quick to point it out. So a major miscue. Now 3rd and goal from.
And there's no reason to do that. That's a big
line.
tight end, Chris, against a safety. And he should be able to pick him up and plant him in the end zone with his hands inside on the chest plate.
The officials put the ball at the 12, but it should be at the 11, or actually the right inside the 11 if you're going to assess the penalty. Now Grossman took a sack, forced a long field goal last time they were in good scoring position. They have to be careful here.
See if they get Fred Davis working.
Here comes a flag.
Washington called their first charge timeout prior to the delay of game foul.
Mike Shanahan call that from the sideline?
I assume that he did.
Wow.
So each team with 2 timeouts here in South Florida. Moments ago, it appears Mike Shanahan is talking to them about, because they delayed the spot, the movement, that some time ran off the play clock.
I believe that's what it is. And he had to call the timeout, or they were going to probably get a delay of game penalty. And really, if that is the case, Chris, that's on the officials and their delay to get the ball spotted, because you were pointing it out. They spotted it on the 12. It should have been down inside the 11, and they finally got it right, but it took time.
So now they've sorted out. Redskins charging timeout on 3rd and goal. They are going to reset the clock. Roy Halou has it, and he's knocked down right away by Vontae Davis.
That's a nice play by Vontae Davis, who's all over it. Pursues up and chops down Roy Halou. Not a great throw there from Rex, though. Behind the Halou, just kind of a desperation throw. Halou had to reach back for it and had really no chance to run.
This will be a 26-yard field goal try for Graham Gano. Missed from 50 earlier in the quarter. And for the first time in the last 4 games, the Redskins score in the opening quarter. But the Dolphin defense dug in to force Grossman and the Redskins to a field goal. Next weekend on the FX Saturday College Football Game of the Week, Charles Davis, Gus Johnson will be in Austin, Texas. Kansas State, the Wildcats taking on the Texas Longhorns. 2 nationally ranked rivals will face off. The FX Saturday College Game of the Week in high definition. You'll see it on Fox. Check local listings for the start time in your area. Produced by Chuck McDonald.
Yeah, those guys are fun to watch doing the college package there. I'll tell you, Rex Grossman, other than the 2 sacks, if you're just joining us here, has really been terrific. Been able to drive the ball down the field a couple of times. It's not had a lot of support out of the run game from Ryan Touraine. Of course, Kevin Barnes with a big interception to put him in position there for the field goal. But all in all, Rex looks pretty solid.
And you talked with Mike Nolan, Miami's defensive coordinator, about the change of quarterback and how that affected his unit.
Yeah, I talked to Mike right before the game, and who is a very, very good coach, by the way. And I said, well, did you prepare for both quarterbacks? So, well, it's the same offense, with the exception of Rex Grossman gives him the ability to push the ball down the field in the passing game. Beck did not give him that ability. He goes, so we prepared for that. And then he didn't say it, but my speculation and pure conjecture is you're going to see the heat start coming in terms of the pressure. Anyway, when you look at Miami's defense, their biggest issues, Chris, have come on the back end and their inability to cover while they try to do it with 4, 5, or 6. So I think Mike Nolan has reserved the fact that he just got to set pressure to help those guys on the back end.
So Clyde Gates with a chance to return. Leaping in the air, but knocked down around the 15-yard line. The #1 kick coverage team in the NFL, the Redskins, doing its job. Matt Moore, who, remember, with the Carolina Panthers, but he was signed as a free agent by the Cowboys when Tony Sparano was part of that team, and Jeff Ireland is now in the Miami front office. So they knew right away when they wanted to bring a backup in here for Chad Henne, they knew what they had in Matt Moore.
Well, having said that, Chris, he didn't get signed till right before training camp. So the lockout certainly affected him in his ability to really digest and understand the offense. He is starting to pick it up now, clearly.
Daniel Thomas carries. And D'Angelo Hall with the tackle.
Tell you what, Perry Riley is everywhere in this game. Getting the start out there for Rocky McIntosh. This dude is lighting it up.
Rookie from, well, actually in his 2nd year from LSU. Drafted, as you said, in the 4th round. And McIntosh started out playing well.
Well, he's in there now for London Fletcher. You see him calling the plays there for the defense? He's in there for London, so it's Rocky McIntosh and Perry Riley, man in the middle, as the inside backers.
So Thomas remains the back. Second and 7. Matt Moore sets to throw. And behind Devon Bessett, incomplete. It'll bring up third down. Josh Wilson on the coverage. The Redskin defense came in 11th against the pass, 21st against the run. So far in the third down department, the Dolphins 2 out of 3. Thomas remains the back.
These are the situations where Moore has really struggled this year. 3rd and 7 plus.
Pass is caught by Devon Bess, who has a first down across the 30. And that is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Dolphins 7, the Redskins 3, but Miami's on the move. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. Temperature in the high 70s here in South Florida. Rex Grossman got the start for the Redskins as they only have a field goal. Reggie Bush a touchdown for the Dolphins off a big third down pass play on 1st and 10. Daniel Thomas carries. Tony Sporretto telling us that he likes to rotate the running backs, Reggie and Thomas, unless somebody gets the real hot hand.
Yeah, that was a good run there by Daniel Thomas, and that's the way it's worked all year as he's rotated them. Look at the first quarter stats there. Again, the Redskins have not been able to run the football. Third down, though, and this is a big one because the Miami Dolphins, worst in the National Football League, Chris, coming in to the game today. The Redskins have been good at getting people off the field on third down. Not the case today.
Thomas again fighting for what looks to be up near the first down marker. Remember, that yellow line is not official, but the referee will let us know officially whether he got there or not.
And you can see his power now. Daniel Thomas, they gave up a lot to get him. When you look at what they gave up to get him in the second round, the draft pick, he goes about 230 pounds. And what Tony Sporretto loves about him is he's a one-read runner, which means there's no dancing in the backfield. He reads the offensive line block, immediately sticks 7 cleats in the ground and gets downhill. You could see how he could finish there. He ejected London Fletcher backwards on the contact.
He got the first down, and Matt Moore's in trouble. Gets rid of it, and incomplete.
But here's where he struggles. After giving him the props as a downhill runner, he struggles in pass protection.
Well, Reggie Bush checked in on that play.
Okay, so it's Reggie who struggled in pass protection. Good correction there, Chris.
That's right. Perry Riley puts the heat on.
And Perry Riley just goes right by him, steps inside. And Reggie, with a little play action fake, could not recover on Perry Riley.
And now Reggie Bush checks out on 2nd and 10.
Riley's making some noise.
Two receivers on the left, lower part of your screen for Moore. Charles Clay all the way out on the right. And that's complete. Brandon Marshall near another first down, and there's a flag down as well. It came in late. It's an 11-yard completion, good enough for a first down, pending the flag.
They've been picking on the middle of the field. And we talked about that with those safeties. Safety split that time. Matt Moore, that's an area that he is targeted.
Reed Dowdy. Bashimago
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness on the play. The runner was still up. The hit is legal. First down.
So no penalty. Atagwe is battling a toe injury and a knee problem. Reed Dowdy, Laron Landry had an Achilles that was bothering him. So the Redskins aren't 100% healthy at safety. But Matt Moore is attacking that area so far. So Marshall's third catch of the game, and it's a fresh set of downs for Miami. He turned just in time, but Anthony Fasano made the catch. The ball was there as soon as he turned.
That was an outstanding catch by Fasano, because that ball was well behind him, as you said. As he turned around, it was not out in front of him. Looked like the wind pushed that ball back behind Anthony Fasano, who's matched up on D'Angelo Hall. That's a terrific catch.
A 28-yard gain. His 13th catch of the year. That's been one of the discussion points down in Miami. Why not target him more? That's only the 17th time he's been thrown to this season.
I think a lot of it was he was helping out that right side pass protection as a blocker early in the year.
First down inside the 20. Thomas tries to slip a tackle and falls forward. Landry up from his safety spot. 4 carries so far for Daniel Thomas and 4 for Reggie Bush. And now both Reggie Bush and Daniel Thomas are in the game.
And Reggie, usually when they do this, Reggie Bush is going to work out of the slot as a receiver, as he is right there.
From the shotgun at 2nd and 10. Here comes Heat. He gets rid of it. Kerrigan lays a hit on Thomas.
And that's the right call. I mean, it was not a good throw. Matt Moore leads him up high, so Thomas has got to stretch for it, but Kerrigan cannot come blow him up like that when he's defenseless.
Number 91 defense for helmet-to-helmet contact with a defenseless receiver. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Let's listen.
Yeah, and that's not because Ryan Kerrigan's a rookie. You can't do that in the college game either.
You can hear the clang and the clack up here.
You can hit him. You can go hit him. You can hit him as hard as you want, but you can't lead with your helmet. You've got to hit him below the V of the neck so you don't get up in the helmet area.
So from the 10-yard line, first and goal. Again, Reggie Bush and Daniel Thomas in the backfield, or I should say as Reggie gets into the slot there in motion now. Moore goes to Reggie, and Bush maybe a yard before he goes out of bounds.
And Laurent Landry and Reed Dowdy, they didn't fall for that one. Especially Laurent. Reggie fakes one way, sticks his foot in the ground, flares back out to the left, and Laurent Landry saw it the whole way. Man, he's a dynamic player. That's a specimen. Look how that guy's built.
So now the 9-yard line, second down goal. Reggie with the only touchdown so far in this game. Bush remains in. And Reggie Bush has it. And near the goal line, goes out of bounds inside the 2. Reed Downey ran him out.
Perry Riley, you're going to see him to the left. He's got Reggie. You see that? Reggie, when Reggie Bush is offset like that, the linebacker who's facing him really has no chance if he ends up crossing back over the formation. So you see Perry Riley right there. He's already behind in chase mode because of the speed of Reggie Bush. So it's got to be the pursuit or the other players of the Redskins that get Reggie out of bounds before he gets in the end zone. But when he offsets in the backfield like that, Chris, he is really, really hard to stop as a receiver. Especially for linebackers and man coverage. They almost have no chance.
Third down and goal. Quickly for the end zone, and Brandon Marshall out of bounds. No catch. Josh Wilson, excellent coverage on the 6'5" frame of Brandon Marshall.
Ball probably comes out a little bit late, which led Brandon Marshall all the way to the sideline. See, if that ball's thrown out a little earlier, he's got a chance to be closer inbounds away from the sideline so he can tap his toes down.
So a field goal try of 21 yards. Dan Carpenter. For the Dolphins. Gives them a 7-point lead here at home. Place they're trying to win for the first time in 8 games. Dolphins with a 10-3 lead here in the second quarter, along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers. Glad to have you watching the NFL on Fox, a doubleheader Sunday. I know that Redskin fans will be interested in that giant 49er matchup. And what a clash, the Lions and the Bears.
Yeah, great games in the NFC, and there's some really good matchups. And 49ers, are they for real? I think they are. 6 straight, and of course the Giants have won 6 of 7. That's going to be a great game.
So the kick goes through the end zone, and the Redskins and Grossman come back out to the 20-yard line, trailing 10-3. Redskins on offense, 1st and 20, and it hadn't looked pretty so far.
Well, they've been in a funk for over a month, this offense. They really have. They've got 34 yards in total offense in this game. They've been doubled up in almost every category by the Miami Dolphins. Only 11 plays. They got to be able to run the football.
Grossman, who's 4 out of 4 so far, is going deep. That's Davis. And he didn't hold on. Got to come up cleanly with the football.
Yeah, well, he didn't finish the process is what happened. And Rex Grossman rolls out to the right, and you look to the left of your screen here, the receivers are going to both run in, and now Fred Davis from the other side of the formation, man coverage against Burnett, and he doesn't finish the process of the catch. As he's going down with it, he's got to roll over and completely finish the process before that ends up being a completion. That ball was underthrown, though, by Rex Grossman.
2nd down, 10. Anthony Armstrong checks in at receiver for Grossman. Ryan Terrain has it. Picks up 4. And Dansby on the tackle.
And we all know, if you've watched Mike Shanahan in the 2 Super Bowls in Denver back-to-back, and everything he's done, it builds off of their running game. And you look at their last 4 losses, Ryan Terrain has disappeared. 11 rushes for 11 yards in the last 3 games played coming in today. And they've run for 53 yards a contest. And when you've got a good defense that's not giving up a whole bunch of points, it's not like you're playing catch-up and you're one-dimensional. There's no excuse. That run game's got to get picked up.
So Roy Halou checks in. He's caught a pass but hasn't run the ball on 3rd down. That's complete for a 1st down. David Anderson just picked up from the Houston Texans with the 1st down catch.
And Rex delivered that with Jason Taylor bearing down on him with a big hit. Watch Rex just staring down the receiver as he's getting hit by Jason Taylor. David Anderson, though, you got to like his addition because he knows the offense.
Kyle Shanahan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just plug him in and he knows the plays. That's a huge advantage.
After a 14-yard pickup, the Redskins on the move. Terrain. And the Dolphins have that number figured out.
Terrain missed it that time. You know, this zone running game where you block, everybody blocks one way, it really presents, Chris, a lot of opportunities for the cutback run in the cutback lane. Terrell Davis made a living on it. Look to the right side of your offensive line. Play designed to go left, but the cutback lane's going to be right, and there ends up being a huge crease right there, and Terrain just doesn't see it.
He came in averaging over 4 yards a carry. He's averaging 2 so far. Grossman complete. 1st down at the 45. That's tight end Logan Paulson into Miami territory.
Love the ball location there. Rex threw him open. He had a defender on the inside of him. And Rex throws it to the outside where Paulson can spin around and go get it. That was nice.
Remember, Chris Cooley out for the year injured. Santana Moss with the injured hand at the receiver spot. They hope to have him back in a couple of games as Terrain carries, fighting to get inside the 41.
And you got to keep running. I mean, look, the Dolphins are going to present a big challenge in their run defense. I would think, in talking to Mike Nolan and talking to these guys, Chris, and we talked to them on Friday, that's the area where they've been the best and the most consistent. Up front with their defensive line and their ability to really limit the big explosion plays in the running game. Been solid all year.
Ryan Terrain. It'll be 3rd down for the Redskins. And Miami on defense, and you mentioned it when we came on the broadcast, they need some takeaways. Only 2 interceptions so far. A defense that has 2 sacks today.
Well, they've got 4 takeaways all year, and that's the worst in the NFL. And it's not a new problem. I think if you go back and look at his defense, even back to last year, statistically they were really good in every category with the exception of takeaways, which was a franchise low. They won't break that record this year unless they pick up the pace.
3rd and 6.
Wrong, Mo.
Intercepted. Vontae Davis. And there is an interception from a Dolphin cornerback. That deserves a wow.
Yeah, that was good timing right there. They haven't had one in 5 games. You set him up to get one. I think Leonard Hankerson's going to blame you because he fell down on the route.
You know, they script plays on offense. We scripted that on defense. Rex Grossman suffering his 10th interception of the season.
And this one's not on Rex. This is a heck of a throw. Here comes the all-out blitz. Jeremiah Bell off the edge. Rex throws it perfectly, but Hankerson, as you see to the right of your screen, falls down. He tries to make that in cut, then an out cut, slips and falls down. That ball was perfectly located. Vontae Davis ended up being the beneficiary of the receiver falling down and getting the interception.
Davis from Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C. His first interception of the season, 6th of his career, as Reggie Bush carries on first down. So the Washington turnover puts the ball back in the hands of the Miami offense. 6 minutes to go in the first half. The only touchdown, a run from Reggie Bush. Kyle Shanahan with Rex Grossman. Davis had disciplinary issues, also was battling a hamstring injury, but certainly has the physical skills at that position.
All day long. Very, very gifted physically. Both of those corners are, but their issue, and Sean Smith too, is their issue has been ball skills. When the ball's in the air, they haven't been able to go up and get it. That time he was able to finish and get. Look at this formation.
The pitch to Reggie Bush. Redskins run him out of bounds. They had Lex Hilliard and Daniel Thomas with Reggie in the backfield. So it'll bring up a 3rd down for the Dolphins. Matt Moore, 9 out of 14 so far in the game. He does have the interception. 2 long drives for the Dolphins, producing points.
No, right here. You got the end.
You're out of Brandon Marshall on the inside. There he is.
Pressure, and he gets it to Marshall, who's got a first down. Look at him run with the football. Inside the 30 of the Redskins.
Boy, that brings back visions of the old Denver days when he was going up over 100 yards as a receiver. Watch him. He's to the inside of this trio here, and he's just going to bubble out, and he's going to get blocks. I mean, you got off coverage by Kevin Barnes. Then you're able to get Clay and Best getting some blocks. And Brandon Marshall, when he was in Denver, that's what he was great at. Getting the short completions and then getting huge yards after the catch. Those numbers have been down as a Miami Dolphin. That guy, that's what he's capable of doing now. Really good.
Reggie Bush carries. Mike Shanahan drafted Brandon Marshall while in Denver. Said he knew right away, even with a high pick, that he had a lot of talent.
Now, the guy's been a beast in pro football. As I said, 3 years in Denver, up over 100 yards. Mike Shanahan always talked about it. As you said, knew right away, but his yards after the catch, he said it was unbelievable. The guy turns into a big running back when he gets the ball underneath.
And Marshall said, I owe him a lot. He gave me my chance. He said, I love that man. Well, I was trying to beat him today. 2nd and 13. Pass is incomplete. The pressure by Kerrigan on Matt Moore. Let's get a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, John Skelton's 4 of 12 passing for Arizona. One of those, well, it was to the wrong team. Asante Samuel's 20-yard interception return. The Eagles only score for either team. It's 7-0 right now in the 2nd quarter, Chris and Tim.
All right, thanks, Kurt. Looks like Matt Moore was holding his hand. There may be an injury. We'll keep an eye on that. Facing 3rd down. Now, so far, 4 out of 6 in this game. Impressive on 3rd down. Let's see what they can do here. For the tight end, Fasano. Let's take a look on the previous play.
Well, and Ryan Kerrigan is just wearing out the right tackle, Mark Colombo. So Kerrigan's going to come flying in. And you see right there, he hits him right on the front of the helmet, Matt Moore, as he's releasing the football. Right away, I was watching him as he rolled over and popped up. He'll start checking his right hand. The running backs are not very good in pass protection. That last play, the overthrow, Daniel Thomas just no chance at blocking up the blitzing London Fletcher.
He hit from 21, Carpenter from 49, and misses left. That's where Graham Gano, the Redskins, missed from 50. So we're still standing at 10-3. Dolphins lead the Redskins. Big Ten Championship, December 3rd. On first down, Grossman's pass is hauled in. That's Hankerson for a first down in Miami territory. So far, 7 out of 9 for Grossman. Fred Davis has no catches.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, that being Rex. And interesting because he's driving the ball down the field is why I don't think Fred Davis has the catch. He had the one where he looked like he had it down the field and then rolled over and didn't finish the process. But with John Beck out there, you think about the last 3 games, it was all Halou on the checkdowns and it was all Fred Davis in the quick outlet. Rex is looking other places, trying to drive the ball down the field.
And there he goes again, inside the 35-yard line.
There's Fred.
Right on cue. His first catch of the game.
Man, you're good. You're good.
Well, my God, you got a gift. Well, you let me see all the plays ahead of time. But at least he's getting the ball downfield. And that's what Mike Shanahan wanted.
Well, he stands tall in the pocket, has his feet under his shoulders, and he's driving the ball accurately in between the numbers. And that's frankly why he's out there today. Beck brought none of that to the table for the Redskins offensively.
Here comes the flag. After a gain of 16 on the pass play inside the Miami 35, will check the infraction.
Encroachment number 94, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So the penalties on Randy Starks, each team with 2 timeouts. This will push the Redskins to the 28-yard line.
Look, and the Dolphins have been ascending over the last couple of weeks. But when I look at the Redskins, this is a must-win for them, Chris, period. I mean, you look at the division. You look at where they are record-wise in this game against the 1-7. They have got to win this football game.
Ryan Terrain carries. Redskins started out 3-1. Now they're 3-5, trying to stay in the NFC East race. Slugging it out here in South Florida. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Rex Grossman got the start today after getting benched 3 games ago. Now that's where John Beck is after he had started through 3 straight losses.
Well, the right move by Mike Shanahan, no question about it. Rex could be 8 for 9 if Fred Davis doesn't drop that one that was right in his hands. Or 9 for 10, excuse me.
On second down with time, that's the fullback, Darrell Young. And that'll force a 3rd down as Koomisi made the play for the Dolphin defense.
Now Rex has been very precise. Again, you had the drop by Fred Davis. He's thrown to, I believe now, 7 different receivers. As Darrell Young gets that one right there. And I promise you that quarterback rating looks a whole heck of a lot better if Leonard Hankerson doesn't slip and fall down and that interception is picked up by Vontae Davis.
Well, that is what Mike Shanahan is worried about. Turnovers. Grossman must eliminate those. On 3rd down, they lost 3, so 3rd and 6. That's high and incomplete. David Anderson, the receiver, it was not a good throw.
Not a good throw, but one David Anderson could have caught. Definitely high and up to the left. But David Anderson did get 2 hands on it. And that's the area where Rex has been attacking now, right down in between the numbers. This one pretty much right on the numbers, just inside the numbers, could have been caught. And I'll tell you what, Gano, with the wind behind him here, he was banging 63-yarders in the pregame by 5 to 7 yards through the uprights.
And this will be a 47-yard try. And the other way, the wind is creating problems for both place kickers. Snap, hold, and got it. So still no touchdowns from Rex Grossman and the Washington offense, but they are within 4.
And look at what Rex has done here in the first half. Just standing tall in the pocket, driving the ball, rotating those hips. Look at that lower body rotation. That's how you throw the ball in this league. And again, look at all of them down the field vertically. Not a lot of checkdowns, not a lot of horizontal throws. He is striking the Miami Dolphins, Chris, between the numbers. It looks really good. You got to be happy for him. And I was talking to him in pregame. He had a smile from ear to ear. He said, I'm just so glad that I've got another opportunity to get out here and play. And just much better than John Beck has been over the last 3 starts.
And he handled his benching like a pro. Then he got pneumonia and said he was so sick that game against the Carolina Panthers, he had to go to the hospital just to try and feel better, and it took a couple of weeks to get his strength and energy back.
And you know what? I think if you looked at Rex 2.5, 3 months ago, you would have saw a guy that was 20 pounds heavier than he is now. And you remember we talked to him earlier in the year about that when we did the Ram game. And never a silver lining to pneumonia, but it did force him to lose about another 6 or 7 pounds. He was already down 12 or 13 pounds just through conditioning. So he's a better conditioned athlete right now.
And Mike Shanahan was questioned this week, and understandably so, from the Washington media. Hey, you put your reputation on these 2 quarterbacks back in training camp. He's tried them both, and the Redskins trying to dig out of a 4-game losing streak. Clyde Gates watches the kick sail through the end zone. So we'll come out to the 20-yard line. Matt Moore and the Dolphin offense on first down. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, we'll have scores and highlights from a busy Week 10 in the NFL, including the Steelers trying to pass Cincinnati in the standings, and the Cowboys trying to catch Buffalo in the win column. That's all coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. I think mine was better than yours.
It was. Yeah. Well, I'm injured.
Okay.
They always have fun, whether it's pre, post, the OT. So stick around for the Visa Halftime Report. 2 timeouts remain for the Dolphins. See how they play it on first down. Reggie Bush. Maybe a yard. In the NFC East, the Cowboys are winning by 21 over Buffalo.
Reg lost his shoe again.
And the Eagles, who have the same number of wins as the Redskins, currently tied with the Cardinals.
Boy, they have really put themselves in a hole, haven't they? And I mean, they are going to have to get red hot and catch fire if they're going to get themselves into the postseason.
And the Giants play later today out in San Francisco, America's game of the week. It's a doubleheader day on Fox.
Can't wait for that one. And the Redskin fans know from watching these Redskins against the 49ers last week, the 49ers defense, they are big time for real.
And the fans aren't happy here. How about this? Shouldn't you try to at least get something if you're the Dolphins? 2 timeouts. They're letting the clock run.
We've got an offensive line coach as the head coach. I think he's saying, you know what? Let's keep our quarterback clean and get into halftime with a 4-point lead.
Thomas carries, and that's how Tony Sparano and the 1-win Dolphins will play it. That's the end of the first half. With the score of the Dolphins 10, the Redskins 6. Fox NFL Sunday continues after this Visa Halftime Report and messages. The Dolphins try to build off of their first win of the year. They scored first on a Reggie Bush touchdown. They have a 10-6 lead, and they get the football here as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Breezy and warm. Tim Wright, Chris Myers. Hope you're enjoying the NFL on Fox. And Rex Grossman getting the start again for Washington. Despite being behind in the game, he's played well.
Yeah, and he really has played well, as we've said in the first half, driving the ball down the field, getting vertical in the passing game, Chris, and he's been under some pretty decent pressure, too. Haven't gotten sacked 2 times. Having said all that, they're one-dimensional offensively. They've got to be able to get the run game going. I know Miami's good at run defense, but they've got to stick with it. And we haven't hardly seen any of Ryan Halou in this football game, which has surprised me a little bit.
I talked to Matt Moore before the game and said, with Rex Grossman starting for the other team, does that affect? He said, well, maybe we'll be a little bit more aggressive offensively. They haven't been so far despite the lead.
Well, he really hasn't been able to get to his second read. Brandon Marshall's got 4 receptions in the football game. Devon Bess has 1. The other wideouts have 0. Fasano's got 1 good play, so it's mostly been Brandon Marshall and Reggie Bush in the passing game. Tell you where they need to get better is number 1, they need to run the ball better, which has paced them over the last couple of weeks, certainly in their win last week. And then in their pass protection, especially with their running backs. Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator of the Redskins, has sent some inside pressures with Perry Riley, with London Fletcher, and very simply this, the running backs have not been able to pick it up and help out Matt Moore.
The Dolphins finally get an interception from one of their cornerbacks. The defense has played very well.
Well, they have, and again, just absolutely stymieing the run. You look at here, I mean, there's just nowhere to go for Ryan Torain. That doesn't mean they need to get away from it. They got to stick with it. And maybe Torain needs to open his eyes a little bit in terms of some of the vision points. And then there's some of the pressure I was talking about on Rex Grossman. And then watch Hankerson. This one's not on Rex Grossman. That's a very good throw under pressure. Leonard Hankerson on the outcut just slips and falls down. And a much needed turnover for the Miami Dolphin defense. 4 on the year. That's their 5th. And their first interception in the last 5 games.
And you were quick to point out a desperate, almost a must-win for the Redskins, given their record and where they are in the, if they have any playoff hopes or division hopes in the NFC.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of football left, and we're only at the halfway point. But you look at the division, you look at the New York Giants. I think the Dallas Cowboys are surging. They've got a soft spot in their schedule right now. They're crushing the Buffalo Bills right now. Philadelphia is going to be a problem. You look at the rest of the schedule on top of all that for the Redskins, it's brutally tough. This is a must-win today. Again, I'll say it all day long here in the second half. They've got to win this game, considering their schedule and what's left in division.
A reason that Mike Shanahan went back to Rex Grossman along with some of the others you listed. This stadium, the scene of Mike Shanahan's second Super Bowl win when he was the head coach of the Broncos, following a back-to-back to beat the Falcons after defeating the Green Bay Packers. And he hopes that Rex Grossman can rally his team. We get ready to start the third quarter.
Tell you one thing, Jake Long has done a pretty darn good job against Brian Arakpo. I'll tell you that right now. Matchup we should certainly try to keep our eyes on here in the second half.
The Redskins with 1 sack. Clyde Gates is going to bring it out. And as we mentioned in the first half, the #1 kickoff coverage team in the NFL coming in. The Redskins do their job. Here, let's check in down on the sideline with Jamie Maggio. Jamie?
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, I spoke with Mike Shanahan after half. He said he's been pleased with Rex Grossman's play so far. He said, though, as a team, they need to get those third downs and they'd be in a lot better shape in this ball game. As for Tony Scarano, well, he said Rex Grossman is in a rhythm. They need to disrupt that, and if they can't, they'll be in better shape. They also plan to capitalize on offense. They said we can't settle for field goals if we want to win it. Guys, back up to you.
That's a great point, Jamie. The Redskins 1 of 7 on third down conversions in the first half.
On first down here, Reggie Bush. So they want to get the running game going. They try it with Reggie. You saw the breeze in Jamie's report from down on the field, and that's had something to do with a couple of missed field goals in this game by kickers that are certainly capable. Otherwise, the score might be a little bit different. There's Jake Long.
Oh, he listen, #1 overall pick in the draft. He was on fire last week against Tamba Hali and the Chiefs, and he is really starting to find his groove. Really got no preseason action because of his injuries. His first real snap in game action was against the Patriots in the opener. He's found his way and he's playing outstanding.
Matt Moore, pressure, the ball is out. That was fumbled by Matt Moore. And Ryan Kerrigan knocked it loose once again. His second forced fumble of the game. Recovering for the Redskins was Stephen Bowen.
And nobody blocks Ryan Kerrigan once again. Watch everybody turn down. And Reggie Bush releases on a little swing route. And Ryan Kerrigan just comes scot-free. And again, swatting the ball out as he gets there. That's sack #5 on the year. You saw Reggie Bush there flaring out to the right. Anthony Fasano, the tight end, released, who Ryan Kerrigan was lined head up on. And those are the kind you love as defensive linemen. You don't have to do anything but run at the quarterback and knock it out. Second sack today. Second forced fumble today, Chris.
Redskins on the attack with Ryan Torain fake. Grossman throw. That's hauled in by Torain, who goes out of bounds. This is an opportunity for the Redskins to try and get into the end zone. They settled for 3 too often, as we heard in the report here. And if you want to be a team that ends a losing skid, you got to take advantage of the Matt Moore fumble and punch it in.
Absolutely, down here in the scoring zone. Near the 20-yard line, get in the red zone, you've got to get a touchdown.
Leonard Hankerson, leading receiver for the Redskins, the rookie from the University of Miami, out to the left. Ryan Torain cuts back. Here's a penalty flag as he gets down to the 14-yard line.
They might end up getting Paulson again out here on the edge, the tight end.
Holding, number 71. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Trent Williams says, that wasn't me. 4th penalty accepted on the Redskins. It'll back him up, and you might be right, Tim.
Well, watch the tight end, 82. He's lined up right next to Trent Williams, 71, out on the edge. They get a little double team working. Yeah, they just called it on Trent Williams. They absolutely did. That's a tough call.
So Roy Halou checks into the game for the Redskins, averaging 4.5 yards a carry.
That's twice now we've seen good runs to the left side that have been nullified because of a holding call. One of them was a touchdown.
From the 30, pass for Hankerson, caught out of bounds just at the 20-yard line, so that'll bring up a third down.
Rex just looks so much more poised than John Beck has looked over the last 3 games. And you just watch the route here. Just as Hankerson makes his out cut, the ball is distributed on time. And the timing's absolutely perfect, about 2 yards inbounds. So Hankerson can get his feet down. Rex looks really, really comfortable and is a big, big asset to all those young players he's playing with, including that rookie Ryan Hankerson.
And Roy Halou, who's in on 3rd and 6.
Run!
Here comes pressure. It's picked up. Grossman's throw for Jabbar Gaffney. First down, Washington. And Grossman goes down to the turf at the 30.
And another great timing route. I mean, he just hits his back foot. One hitch is the quick bounce, and then he releases the ball. Gaffney turns, and the ball's right there on the money. Here's the pressure coming at Rex Grossman. Watch, there's the hitch. There's the throw. Taking a big shot, and watch how perfect this ball is. Doesn't get any better, Chris.
And Gaffney hauls it in, starts putting the pressure on. So it's first and goal, Washington, from the 9-yard line. Grossman underneath to Davis, and that doesn't go anywhere. Starks was right on the scene.
Randy Starks wasn't taking the bait. It was like 3 fakes. Rex looked left, fake left, then looked right, fake left, and a little razzle-dazzle of Fred Davis underneath. Starks said, not taking the cheese on this one.
They may have lost a yard on that. 2nd and goal, Redskins. They got here after the fumble recovery. Miami got the ball to start the second half. So that was a 6-yard loss.
You got run.
Underneath, complete. That's Hankerson down inside the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal.
Nice little route by Leonard Hankerson. He's out to the wide side to the right, and watch him just sift inside. He's going to stop now. He's going to take. You know what guys do there is they stop, and they think the defender, and that time it was Will Allen. Look, I'm stopped right here. The quarterback takes a big snapshot of him like he's going to deliver it. Then they take off and continue their route, and Will Allen couldn't recover. That was impressive.
Excuse me, Hankerson on the left side on 3rd down and goal. In the corner, juggled Fred Davis. No. And the Dolphin defense takes a stand.
Man, that's good work by Kevin Burnett. Look at him just turn and locate the ball. Really, just some subtle contact, just enough, doesn't draw the flag, but really the impetus and the momentum of that subtle contact right there pushes Fred Davis out of bounds.
So a golden opportunity for the Redskins to get a touchdown. Graham Gano hopes they settle for 3 at least from 23 yards. And that's good. Washington inches to within a point of the Dolphins. Tony Sparano, despite the turnover, his defense does its job. Here at South Florida, the Dolphins protecting a 1-point lead. Fans anxious for their 2nd win of the year. Graham Gano 3 out of 4 field goals for the Redskins, and Clyde Gates anxious for a chance to return. The Dolphin offense will come out to the 20-yard line. Can the AFC Offensive Player of the Week come through? Matt Moore in the offense. Straight ahead. Here at South Florida, it's a 10-9 Dolphin lead on a low-scoring Sunday around the National Football League, and no exception here with the way the defenses have played. Matt Moore brings out Miami's offense with Daniel Thomas, the running back.
Neutral zone infraction, number 91, defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It's on Ryan Kerrigan, who has 2 sacks and, of course, created a fumble opportunity moments ago.
I'm not sure that he flashed into the neutral zone. Let's see if he gets across the line of scrimmage or just enough of a flinch. Wow. Wow.
1st and 5 for the Dolphins.
Of course, if you flash and you are in the neutral zone when the offensive player moves, then it is going on the defense, just as they called there.
From the pocket, that's Hartline. And a first down catch. If they move the pocket enough, that's something that worked well for Matt Moore.
Well, I listen, you're going to have to start moving the pocket a little bit if you can't block up the pressures. But Matt Moore, to me, has been fine. I mean, he's 11 of 18 in the football game, and the problem has been protection breakdowns. Whether just not blocking a guy or the running back not being able to step up and stop the pressure from the inside linebacker.
After that completion, 1st and 10. That was low, intended for Brian Hartline. And Josh Wilson was covering.
Yeah, that ball got tipped is what happened, Chris. That ball got tipped right at the line of scrimmage. Matt Moore, I'll tell you what he does do. He moves around himself, and he's able to create some little space in terms of pocket awareness. He steps up in the pocket right here in between the tackles, and Kedrick Golston looked like got his hand up and got his hand on it, and it forced that ball to carry him up in the air and end up short. But he's really, for only his 18th start, he's been in the league for a while. Matt Moore is pretty clever in his pocket presence and moving around inside the pocket.
They're going to run it to Thomas, who slips through, and it'll be 3rd down. You know, since you talked about passes being thrown quickly, a lot of batted balls this year.
Everywhere around the National Football League. Look, with all the spread fast pass that we're seeing, this is the great equalizer. This neutralizes the quarterbacks getting the ball out quick. You know, when I was playing, it was, okay, you got to get there in 3 seconds if you're going to get to the quarterback. Well, now that number, because of the spread fast pass, has been reduced to about 2.5 seconds. So defensive linemen have been able to neutralize that, Chris, by getting batted balls, a bunch of them around the league.
3rd and 5. And Matt Moore wants timeout.
And I'll tell you what happened is they threw Brian Arakpo over on the other side and matched him up there with Ryan Kerrigan. Matt Moore saw it. He said, no thanks. Time out.
Dolphins have improved on 3rd downs today. They need to convert here, protecting a 1-point lead.
You need to find Devon Best. Hartline jumps off sides and now puts him in 3rd and 10.
And that was after
number 82. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That was after a timeout. Now for the Dolphins, they're one of the least penalized teams in the NFL, tied for 2nd fewest coming into the game. That's the 4th accepted.
And unacceptable. I mean, after a timeout and you get out there and it's not like the stadium's loud crazy that he couldn't hear anything. He's tipped in looking at the snap count. Just a mental breakdown. Devon Best, I'm telling you, 15's the guy they got to find.
And there is Devon Best in Redskin territory. Analyze this, analyze that.
Like I said, you're good.
A 22-yard
inside receiver. He's got inside leverage already. He takes it away from Kevin Barnes. Just by that little jab step outside, he is the best route runner on this offense. And that is only his 2nd catch of the afternoon. So with all the rolled coverage typically and the help going to Brandon Marshall, this guy's such a good route runner, had well over 70 catches last year. Chris, they've got to get him more involved in the offense.
And what a great personal story. Working his way as a walk-on at Hawaii after losing his scholarship. A fan favorite for the Dolphins, Devon Best. And here is Daniel Thomas, and the Redskins swarm to push him backwards.
Good job there by D'Angelo Hall. He just forced that baby right back inside.
Congratulations, D'Angelo Hall and his wife. Twins delivered, and everybody's happy and healthy in the family on Friday.
There you go, D. Hall. Good for you, man.
2nd down 9 for the Dolphins.
Look at that. neither team running the ball, and Washington has not been able to run it. The surprise is the Redskins have not been able to stop the run. Today they're doing it.
Matt Moore's in trouble. He gets out of it and gets inside the 40. He talked about pocket management and how well they coached that here with the Dolphins.
And again, this is the pocket presence that I'm talking about, and you're just saying pocket management because they get good blitz pickup just enough from Daniel Thomas on Perry Riley. And then I promise you Matt Moore can't break 5 flat in the 40, but he makes every step count. He steps up, and then he rolls out to the left, and now a little okey doke on a rack poke. Right there back inside.
You didn't see his slide. He was a third baseman, actually drafted in the Angels organization. On 3rd and 4. Blitz is picked up. Wide open is Brandon Marshall.
Boy, Ryan, blitz pickup, but Brian Arakpo to the left of your screen is going to drop into coverage. So they're sending D'Angelo Hall from the front side, and they just split the safeties. I mean, the safeties end up, Reed Dowdy and LaRon Landry end up being deep half players. Arakpo is playing like that cover 2 middle linebacker where he's got to sink down the middle of the field. And that's a fine throw from Matt Moore over the top.
A 26-yard gain. 5th catch for Marshall. Thomas carries. And for Brandon Marshall, only 2 touchdowns this year. Dolphin fans have counted up to 5 drops in the end zone. They expect more out of him when you get down near the goal line.
Well, he's only had 5 touchdowns as a Miami Dolphin. And for his talent, his skill level, and it's not, as you just said, it's not like he hasn't had opportunity. The ball has been delivered to him down in the end zone. He's had some significant drops at key times this year.
Thomas. It'll be 3rd down. I'm sure Dolphin fans are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, we get down there with the throw, and now we're playing it safe offensively." So it looks like the Redskins will be guessing pass here for Matt Moore. From the 10-yard line. And we have Goldston, the injured player, being helped off the field. One of those guys involved in the defensive line rotation. 5:14 to go in the 3rd quarter here. Dolphins with a 10-9 lead and trying to get more, facing a 3rd and 6. Part of our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader in America's Game of the Week. Giants and 49ers. Only 1 defeat for the 49ers. They're one of the 6 teams that have already matched or bettered their record, their win total from last year. At this point, we're just moving into the second half of the season.
And no question in my mind that Jim Harbaugh is the NFL Coach of the Year through the first half of the season. They will smash you, Chris, with old school football. Frank Gore over 100 yards, 5 consecutive games. They're throwing the ball to offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Everybody's gone spread. Throw the ball. Jim Harbaugh is going old school, heavy tight end packages. We're going to run it down your throat.
10th play of the drive for the Dolphins. The way this game is going, if you get a touchdown, you figure you're in good shape. 3rd and 6. High in the end zone, incomplete. Brian Hartline was the closest receiver. Miami will settle for a field goal try.
Yeah, Matt Moore late on that throw because Hartline was open. Reed Dowdy and Josh Wilson had a little mix-up in coverage, and Tony Sperano knows it. But because the ball came out late, watch to the left of your screen here. You're going to see Hartline get behind Reed Dowdy. But because the ball came out late, Matt Moore has to sail it over the top in fear of getting it intercepted.
So Dan Carpenter's 28-yard try is good. Miami back to a 4-point lead here in the 3rd quarter, leading 13-9. 13 out of 22 so far.
Save the girl.
How about save the game? Can Rex Grossman save the Redskins? He'll have that opportunity as the kick from Carpenter to Brandon Banks. And stopped at the 15-yard line. So far, only field goals for the Redskins as they trail here in South Florida. 4:52 to go in the third quarter, and Roy Halou, the running back for Grossman. First down, Washington. And the handoff, Halou across the 27-yard line. Maybe one of the better runs of the day.
Well, a heck of a block by Fred Davis at tight end. Watch Fred. He's to the right of your screen right here. Watch him go get the linebacker, Kevin Burnett. He just locks on. Man, it felt good to tell it straight. Tell it straight.
Rashid's been out with it. We apologize for that. That's a first down pickup, but I bet it felt good for Roy Halou, his first carry of the game, and that's what we've seen Terrain and then mix it up a little bit with the rookie from Nebraska. And he stays in. Grossman has it, and behind Gaffney, and incomplete. Let's check in down on the field with Jamie Maggio. Jamie?
Thanks, Chris. Well, you saw Golston was getting a little help coming off the field there. They've got him laying down. They're testing out his flexibility on that left knee. He is able to get up and move around. He's just doing it cautiously. They're still taking their time being cautious with that. They're calling it questionable at this time. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Jamie, for that injury update. So after no gain, 2nd and 10 with Halou remaining the back. Terrain carried 10 times for 20 yards. Incomplete. And there's a flag down where Grossman went down, and it came in late.
Yeah, Igor Olshansky and Cameron Wake both back there on Rex Grossman.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, number 75 offense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95 defense. Those fouls offset. Repeat, second down.
Yeah, Cameron Wake got held by Locklear, and then here's the roughing on Igor Olshansky. He's going to come from the right side of your screen, number 95. So Rex delivers the ball, and then there's 2.5 steps and a hit. He's trying to hold him up. That had no malice whatsoever, but you have to avoid any contact with force if you can. That's the way the rule reads, and I think Igor Olshansky could have avoided any contact if he wanted to.
A break for the Redskins at second down. Grossman's throw, Gaffney has it and goes out of bounds. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Falcons and Saints fighting for the top spot in the NFC South. Matt Ryan dumping off to Jason Snelling, and Snelling bowls his way into the end zone through, we counted 9 different Saints for the touchdown. 13-10. Falcons on top in the third quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. As you look at the standings in the NFC South, and it is a low-scoring Sunday.
Scoring's down everywhere. The defenses are catching up to offenses, Chris, clearly. I mean, look at the number of 300-yard passers that have gone south here in the last few games around the NFL.
Third down and incomplete. Gaffney was the receiver in the area. There's a flag that comes in late.
Boy, did it ever. Gaffney was certainly agitated and irritated. He doesn't even know if flag's been called yet.
That was really late.
Jeremiah Bell and Rashad Jones both back there defending.
There's no foul for illegal contact on the play. Fourth down.
That's what's great. The officials huddle, they make sure, and they get it right.
Yeah, here's Gaffney, number 10. He's going to get vertical. Yeah, a little contact there as Jeremiah Bell really just cut off his path and got in front of him.
Bell, who has the last 3 years played every game for the Dolphins and is again doing that this year, consistent in their secondary as Grossman fails on the third down try. Devon Best back to receive the punt from South Rocca. Between Rocca and Fields, these are 2 of the better punters in the league, and that's fumbled. Recovered, or muffed I should say, and recovered by Best. And the Dolphins keep the football. You know, fans of these two teams recall the glory years of the Redskins and the Dolphins. George Allen, Don Shula's perfect team, the no-name defense of the Dolphins. But Gary Abramian, the gaffe that we all remember, the Dolphins, the perfect season Dolphins were underdogs against the Redskins in Super Bowl VII. But with Larry Zonka, they won the game 14-7. The heyday of the Dolphins and the Redskins, and that's what guys like Edwin Pope were writing about the Dolphins, and Rick Weaver calling them on the radio. Ralph Rennick was anchoring the local news.
We had a nice conversation with Bob Greasy before the game today, who's right next door to us here in the radio booth.
Reggie Bush, inside. He's yet to get going inside, and that's something the last couple of games when he's had the hot hand, he has been able to do.
Absolutely has, especially against the Giants. Now he just breaks an ankle on LaRon Landry with a little hesitation cut. Wicked. There was a secondary defender behind LaRon Landry that was able to make the tackle. Reggie told us, I'm a running back first, and he's always wanted this opportunity. Chris, he's relishing this opportunity. It hasn't been great for him today, but he says everything else he brings to the table is just a bonus. This guy wants the opportunity to carry the ball 18 to 22 times a game.
Since he's come into the league, no running back has more catches. They've thrown to him 4 times today. That's Devon Bess, short of the first down. And an excellent stop on defense by Arakpo.
Yeah, and that's where Brian Arakpo has gotten much better. I remember when he came into the league, high first-round pick, I believe number 13 overall out of Texas, and he was strictly a pass rusher. And I remember doing games then where, you know what, he's going to be trying to find his way as a pass defender, and it certainly was some growing pains early. He has certainly excelled and gotten much, much better in covering guys. That time a very good right runner, Devon Bess, and he was right on him, and quick tackle after the catch.
Another tipping point, third down here. Dowdy drops way deep into coverage, and Devon Bess has the catch but can't get away. It'll be 4th down for the Dolphins. Kevin Barnes made sure that Bess didn't get near the first down marker. So Brandon Fields will come on to kick his first punt of the day. Clock running here in the third quarter. Now, has this been more about excellent defense, or have these offenses been shabby?
I think a little bit of both. Neither one has really been able to run the ball. But look, I'll give the defense credit. They're beating people at the point of attack with their defensive line and linebackers. So being a defensive guy, I'll give credit to the D's on both sides.
Fair enough. And the boot from Fields. Brandon Banks had some problems last week. Hauls this in cleanly. And goes up the sideline. Finally, the whistle sounds as he gets across the 42-yard line. And it was Fields who had to reel him in.
Tell you, and again, talking defense, it's been some outstanding edge pressure by these defensive outside linebackers for the Washington Redskins. And look at the quarterback hits, the sacks, the tackles for loss. And anytime you run, Chris, a 3-4 defense, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, you think of the great Steelers and what they were able to do for all of those years and what they're still doing now. You need those outside backers, and you need them as elite pass rushers. Arakpo has been the elite pass rusher. Ryan Kerrigan certainly finding his way. And what you want out of those guys by the end of the year, you want 20 sacks out of them combined. They are well on their way.
Miami and its 3-4 defense. Hankerson is open and has a first down catch, his 6th of the game in Dolphin territory. You can get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL Now. 17-yard completion in the University of Miami 3rd-round pick. 6 catches, 75 yards today.
And a nice little bonus that he's able to grow, because guess what? Here in about 3 weeks, they're going to get another University of Miami player back in Santana Moss. And with Hankerson's ability to upgrade this offense, get Moss back, they'll be cooking.
And they run to Roy Halou. Cuts back inside the 37-yard line. Niles Paul is injured with a toe problem. And, of course, Santana Moss recovering from that hand injury as well. The Redskins trailing by 4. It's been more field goals here in the second half, but the hometown team protecting the lead. And that's the end of the third quarter. The Dolphins 13, the Redskins 9. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your Fox station. Tim Ride, Chris Myers, our crew from South Florida. Reggie Bush, the only touchdown of the game. The Dolphins trying to win their second game of the year. The Redskins trying to end a 4-game slide. And Rex Grossman back in the starting lineup, trying to do it. On second down, he hands off to Halou, who gets inside the 35. It'll bring up third down and short. Washington 2 of 10 when it comes to third down conversions.
And this game is really, really evenly matched. Neither team has been able to run the ball worth a darn at all. Third down certainly has favored the Miami Dolphins, which is a contrast to what's happened on the year. And then the turnovers obviously favoring the Redskins. And that being part of the time of possession stuff, because of the third down they're converting, that being Miami, they've held the time of possession advantage, but very, very evenly matched game here.
It's a long field goal here if Grossman doesn't take a sack. Redskins are trying to get 2. Halou tries, cuts back, falls forward.
Oh, I think he got it, Chris. I think he got it with that third effort. Absolutely. Because Tony McDaniel is in the backfield, the defensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins, and Halou is able to avoid him. I'll bring the chains out here.
And Halou last week at his first NFL start in that game set a team record for catches by a running back with 14 grabs. Here he's just trying to get a first down.
Yeah, and it's just great effort because it looks like he stopped right there and then is able to just surge forward for an extra yard and a half.
Now if you don't get it, you got to go for it, right?
With the way the wind's been blowing in this direction, I'm just trying to put it all together. They're going to get it.
You won't have to make. You and Shanahan didn't want to make that decision. So what a run by Roy Halou. It may have only been a few yards, but those were big yards for Mike Shanahan. And a fresh set of downs for Rex Grossman. And right now they're within field goal range, but this is the west end of the field where both kickers have missed from 49 and 50.
I would have kicked it.
You would have? Okay.
Yeah, I would have. And listen, certainly well within his range. They haven't run the ball worth a darn today. I would have kicked it and taken the points with this much time left.
Roy Halou carries. An effort here, but the Dolphins bottle him up. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, a little more successful run than the one you just saw. This time it's Rashard Mendenhall fighting his way in from 9 yards out. His second touchdown of the game. It puts the Steelers on top of the Bengals 24-17 late in the third. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. The Bengals, one of those surprise teams in the National Football League this year.
5 consecutive wins for them. Are you kidding me? That AFC North is going to be fun to watch that thing come down to the end. Division is congested.
Grossman incomplete. Cameron Wake, who we haven't said much about today, grabbed the jersey and forced Grossman into getting rid of that.
Yeah, they're going to ground. They got to get intentional grounding for Rex Grossman. You cannot just throw it away like that with no receiver in the vicinity. No chance.
And that's big if that's the call, because that moves up a field goal try at the difficult end of the field, and you'll be facing third down.
Yeah, and they're trying to huddle up and say, was there a receiver in the area? I don't think there was. I didn't see one.
Cameron Wake from Beltsville, Maryland, and DeMatha High School. Came in with 5.5 sacks and hasn't been much of a factor today for this Dolphin defense.
And the back judge, you see him there talking to Carl Jeffers. He's the one that has the best perspective where he is on the back end of the defense, whether or not there was a receiver sitting in the hole. Anywhere near the football that Rex Grossman tries to deliver here.
There's no intentional grounding on the play. Receiver number 88 was in the area. Third down.
David Anderson, the receiver, and from that picture, that view, it looked like the right call.
Well, that's kind of didn't give you a real depth perception. How close was he to get near that football by Rex Grossman? But certainly he flashed there, and that looked like where Rex was trying to throw it. These guys have done a good job of huddling up and getting the things right in terms of after they've thrown some flags. That's a couple of times they've done that today.
Pressure is picked up. Grossman has time from the pocket and complete at the 10-yard line. Leonard Hankerson.
Boy, what a job by the running back, Roy Halou, in the blitz pickup, Chris. You said it. I mean, the blitz was picked up by the rookie running back. You're going to watch him here. He's to the right in the backfield. Look at him just stiff the linebacker, Kevin Burnett, who's coming on pressure, and then the deep in cut by Leonard Hankerson. Nice route. Look at him break that route off and then go up and get it. Man, this cat is impressive, giving this offense a big shot in the arm.
22-yard gain as Santana Moss looks on. 7 catches for Hankerson, a career best day so far in the rookie's career. As Grossman on 1st and goal. And it's intercepted. Carlos Dansby has it. That is the Rex Grossman that Redskin fans fear. Carlos Dansby with the interception. The Dolphins today have equaled with 2 their total interceptions for the year, and the 11th of Dansby's career, the one-time Cardinal. Dolphins take over. Matt Moore on 1st down, throwing and completing at the 30-yard line to Brandon Marshall. And let's go back to the interception.
What a fabulous play by Carlos Dansby, staying home in his zone. You're going to see, here's Dansby right there. Gaffney's going to run an in route, 2 out routes. Dansby does not take the bait. He just stays right in his zone, little hook zone, and reads the eyes of the quarterback, Rex Grossman, who absolutely has taken a huge snapshot in staring down Gaffney. Look at that, never takes his eyes off of him. And Dansby, again, just gets the payoff for staying home, understanding the route concept. And look at Rex's eyes here. I mean, he never, ever, he's just waiting for Gaffney to come inside on the double move, never takes his eyes off. And that's the, lack for a better term, the train wrecks that people in Washington get disappointed with. Rex is going to keep throwing, though. I promise you that.
Well, they wanted somebody to go downfield. And for Dansby, he's the one who told us, look, no mountain is too high if you take that first step. And he was referring to the Dolphins' win over Kansas City, which got the ball rolling. And they seem like a much more confident team as Josh Wilson is the injured player for the Redskins walking off the field, getting some applause from the fans. The cornerback, who will be replaced by Byron Westbrook, who will come in to take his spot with D'Angelo Hall on the other side. And there is Westbrook wearing number 34, related to Brian Westbrook, the former Eagle and 49er running back.
Look, he remember the Cardinal game we did early in the year. He knocked that ball out and really was a huge part of winning that game. I believe it was week 2, so he is capable of making some plays out there.
Reggie Bush, the carry, and the Redskins will throw him for a loss. So on the previous down, they come out throwing. That's that aggressive part on offense, protecting the 4-point lead. Riley stopping the run.
He's been outstanding today, Chris. You think of this Redskin defense, which was really surprising and alarming to me, and it has to be for Jim Haslett, too. Coming into the game, their last 4 losses, they were in these games with the exception of the Buffalo game. 161 yards per game they were giving up on the ground. That's awful. They've been outstanding today, and I think Perry Riley, Chris, has been a big part of it.
2-yard loss for Bush. Kerrigan coming. Moore got rid of it to Clay. We haven't heard from Charles Clay. His first catch of the game. 6th-round draft pick out of Tulsa, who in the last couple of games has been a friendly target for Matt Moore, a tight end H-back.
Yeah, they like him quite a bit. Nicked up a little bit early in the year.
Now, if you're the Dolphins, do you attack Westbrook on that corner with Wilson out of the game?
Well, you absolutely take a shot at him for sure. Let's see. I'm going to line Devon Bess up over there on him.
On 3rd and 8.
Yeah, you got single coverage out there. You get some protection here because you take a shot.
And that's complete for a first down. Fasano just short of the 45-yard line.
And they really use those 2 receivers I just talked about to clear it out and brought Fasano underneath.
Stephen Bowen losing his helmet there after an 11-yard pickup. Matt Moore on target again. So Rex Grossman, who had the Redskins in position on a 1st and goal, Throws the interception to Dansby, and now the Dolphins are marching the other way.
And his second interception today. The first one wasn't his fault. Hankerson fell down. That one certainly was all on Rex Grossman.
Daniel Thomas. The Redskins doing again a great job on the run, and there's Perry Riley on the stop.
And that's really the meat of the Dolphins offensive line. I think Tony Sperano, and when you talk about their O-line, they love Jake Long and his ability to pass protect outside, but Big Pouncey, the first round pick center in there. You got Richie Incognito, the old St. Louis Ram, who they love his power inside. And then Vernon Carey, who was a tackle, big, huge mammoth of a man playing right guard. That's where they really, Chris, feel like their power source is. They tried to run behind it. No chance today against the Redskins.
High snap, and Moore grabs it and throws for Fasano. What a catch!
It seems like every time they throw it to him, Fasano, this dude makes circus catches. Look at this one-hander. Goes up and just palms it with one hand over London Fletcher and inside of D'Angelo Hall. That's outstanding. That's the second really good catch for Anthony Fasano in this game.
And Matt Moore comfortable throwing down the middle when he gets time. So a 21-yard pickup inside the 35 of the Redskins. Thomas.
He's just not seeing the hole. That hole was to the left side that time. He's just not seeing it. He's running up right into traffic rather than keeping his eyes open and running to the open lanes. You know, those plays are designed to cut back, and this could have easily cut back right outside of Richie Incognito. There was a nice crease there, and he didn't see it.
The rookie from Hilliard, Florida, still learning his position. Went to 3 different junior colleges before going to Kansas
Look at that
State.
hole. I know the D tackle did flash in there late in Barry Cofield, but if you make that read quick and you plant that foot and go backside, he left some yards on that run, did Daniel Thomas.
He stays in on 2nd and 8. Matt Moore has it and completes at the 20 to Brandon Marshall. And again, Josh Wilson, the injured corner, went to the locker room for the Redskins. A 13-yard completion, and Marshall is nearing the 100-yard mark for reception yardage.
Well, you get a certain understanding and a feel for Matt Moore and his feel of this offense now. When you rewind back to his first start against the Jets in that Monday night game, he was brutal in terms of understanding where to go with the ball and getting it out on time. That hasn't been the case over the last 2 or 3 games.
Reggie Bush is back in on first down. An ankle tackle made by LaRon Landry, and for Marshall, 7 catches and 98 yards in the game today.
And off the heels of a 100-yard game last week. Over the middle, goes up high. Here he's going to sit down in the hole. Watch, he'll get some yards after the catch on this little quick bubble screen to the outside. Able to break some tackles. Up over the middle again, going to go up and get it. He has made some big plays today. Almost at 15 yards a catch, which is a big number.
He was one of those guys, as Reggie Bush said, you know, we've had our in-house squabbles as any family would have. We're trying to stick together and get wins. There's Reggie Bush moving and gets the carry. And cuts inside the 10-yard line. Reggie Bush has a touchdown!
Anthony Fasano, watch 80's block on Ryan Kerrigan. Look at him hook Ryan Kerrigan. That's the key to the whole block. Now, I know Daniel Thomas gets out and they get some good blocks down the field. Ryan Kerrigan has got to be the guy that gets upfield and sets the edge, forces everything back inside. He couldn't do it because it was an outstanding block by the tight end Fasano, who is huge, Chris, on that scoring drive.
With some big catches, an 18-yard touchdown run. And an 11-point lead. Reggie Bush with his 2nd touchdown of the day. And Anthony Fasano with a couple of clutch catches and then a big block on Reggie's touchdown run.
Absolutely was the key block in being able to hook the edge. Daniel Thomas had a nice block as well into the boundary, and then Jake Long just downfield about 15 yards, pushing defenders out of bounds. Really good stuff, and Ryan Kerrigan was hot that he gave up the edge.
Brandon Banks from his goal line and stopped short of the 18-yard line. 6 minutes remaining. Rex Grossman will have to rally the Redskins, who trailed the Dolphins 20-9. In Reggie Bush's excitement after scoring the touchdown, throwing the football into the stands, that's a $5,000 fine from the National Football League. And the Redskins up against it now. Can Grossman rally this team? Wide open is Davis. First down across the 46-yard line. It was the interception by Grossman. Dansby picked it off that allowed the Dolphins to march the other way.
Definitely the game changer for sure, as it was a terrific drive, had him down in position. And of course Fasano able to, on the other way, you know, Matt Moore making some very nice throws on their scoring drive. Down 11 here. This is all about hurry up here in the last 5 minutes of the game. This is where you love the experience of Rex Grossman.
Roy Halou out of the backfield.
Get out of bounds.
And he does not, and he stops short of the 40.
That's a rookie mistake. Look, you love the fact you're trying to pick up extra yards. They have you walled off with defenders. Work it to the sideline. Get yourself out of bounds.
Of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
We had a roughing the passer call and did not get the clear number.
I believe it was Audric. Oh no, it was Audric from the back. Like Starks down low, Audric from the backside.
Now, is that really a roughing the passer?
Didn't look like it to me unless he hit him in the back of his helmet with his helmet, but that looked like a weak call.
Well, it pushes the Redskins all the way inside the 45 of Miami. All 3 timeouts remaining. They need 2 scores. They set up the screen to Roy Halou, who's dancing inside the 40 and down to the 36.5-yard line of Miami.
Yeah, keep your eye on that clock, down 11. It's all about, as I said, getting to the line of scrimmage, getting the play spit out as fast as you can if you're Rex Grossman. And here's where the veteran quarterbacks do their work. I don't know why they're huddling up here.
You talked about the experience of Grossman with some of the young players on this team. That's why he's starting instead of John Beck.
And maybe that's why they're huddling up with Leonard Hankerson out there. But you got a 10-year veteran in Jabbar Gaffney. You got this thing, and Halou being a rookie, this thing's got to work hurry up the line of scrimmage.
Grossman has time. The ball's batted. And false down, incomplete. Stops the clock with 4:18 to go, and it's 3rd and 4. And looked like Jason Taylor got his arms up, tipped that ball.
Yeah, he's going on Trent Williams out here, right end on left tackle. That's absolutely what happened. Jason Taylor just reading the quarterback, and you hear me say it all the time, that non-throwing hand comes off. The cue, the ball's coming out. Get your hand up. It's a big play by Jason Taylor.
They need 4 on 3rd down, and they get it. Reaching for it up at the 30-yard line and making the catch. And now he's rolling in pain as Leonard Hankerson. Leonard Hankerson, the University of Miami product, the injured player. Leonard Hankerson, with more than 50 friends and family watching him here, walking to the sideline off of the injury.
And he's been outstanding, and it's to his right leg, and you can see what happens here. Rashad Jones up on his back. Watch the next step he takes with his right leg. Right here, just gets it out in front of him and awkwardly comes down on it. Glad he was able to get off and walk under his own power.
8 catches, 106 yards for Leonard Hankerson, who's out of the game on 1st down for the Redskins. Grossman. Batted incomplete. Carlos Dansby is having a terrific game.
And there was nobody open down the field because Dansby was picked up by Roy Halou initially. Halou is locked up with him in protection. Rex is just trying to get out and throw the ball away, and Dansby's able to get the bat down. Those 2 backers, I'll tell you what, you look at the 2 linebackers, Dansby and Burnett, over the last 2 weeks. Certainly Dansby much more today. He's been on fire.
It's changed the pace of this Miami defense, and Jason Taylor in his 197th regular season game as a Dolphin, second on the all-time list, ahead of Bob Kuchenberg and right behind Dan Marino. And there he is. Jason Taylor.
And it does not come at a bigger time than in this game. Man, you are all over it. You talk about somebody, they make a play. What's going on with you? Watch him on Trent Williams here on the edge. And again, they're down in the scoring zone. Look at the inside move. They do a fan protection, which means Williams gets to the outside. Maurice Hurd, the rookie left guard, is responsible for blocking Jason Taylor. He had no chance on the big-time veteran right there. That is really, really good stuff.
Briefly a Redskin, his 135th and a half sack. Here comes Preston as a flag down. Grossman's down.
Offside, number 98, defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Oh, man, that is a huge penalty because that is what pushes them way out of the field goal range. Mike Nolan just sends more than they can block. I talked about it early. Mike Nolan's going to overload blitz and say, look, we're just sending extra guys. And they're going to come right up the gut. Nobody to block Rashad Jones. Nobody. So Jared Odrick wasn't even a factor on the rush, and he's the one that gets called offside. That's a critical error.
So yeah, it's 3rd and 12. Now, if they miss this, we'll watch. You still need 2 scores, so they can kick a field goal if they make it. Try the onside kick.
They got to pick up some extra yards here to get in field goal position. That's what they're thinking.
Incomplete. Terrence Austin was the target.
That ball hit him right in the chest, didn't it?
4th down, and Jason Taylor is back there in coverage.
That ball, that was a well-thrown ball from Rex Grossman under duress.
So Graham Gano, who missed from 50 at this end of the field earlier, but has been good on 3 other tries.
And clearly the right call. Down 2 scores. So you kick the field goal, down 8, get an onside kick, and hopefully get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie this thing up.
It's a 49-yard attempt for Graham Gano. The kick. No. For Gano. So the field goal game failing for the Redskins. Leonard Hankerson, who's had an outstanding day, headed to the locker room for the Redskins. Josh Wilson returns from the locker room in the secondary, and Graham Gano with 2 misses.
And both in that direction, Chris, and both hooked left.
You know, if you live by the field goal, and if your offense, if that's all you can muster.
Well, you know what? Rex had really one bad play today. Otherwise, I thought he's really played good in this game. But at the end of the day, it's only 9 points up on the board.
And Reggie Bush with his 2 touchdown runs, trying to run the clock down now for the Dolphins. And we have a timeout. Washington has 2 remaining. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Well, just a reminder that America's Game of the Week has something for everyone. If you like the ground game, Frank Gore will try to run it against the Giants, while through the air, Calvin Johnson will try and get it done against the Bears. No matter your taste, you'll flip for America's Game of the Week. Coming your way when you guys are done there in Miami, Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Some amazing matchups. Are people overlooking the Bears?
Yeah, they are. The Bears have won 3 consecutive games, and they have got their offensive line shored up. Look, I think Forte's got the most yards from scrimmage in the National Football League. He'll give the Lions all they can handle with us.
Rex Grossman, of course, led the Bears to a Super Bowl and unable to lead the Redskins out of the hole that they've been in today. Daniel Thomas carries. And Matt Moore came up big when he had to with some clutch throws. as the Redskins take their second timeout, and the Redskins will have one remaining. And now if they don't pull off a miracle here, look at this schedule coming up.
Yeah, I told you it's brutal. Now you think Seattle, they're not very good. That's a long trip out to the Northwest. Dallas is surging right now. The Jets are playing really good football. New England's been in a bit of a funk, but we know what kind of firepower they have, and the Giants have won 6 of 7 games. So this one really hurts if the Redskins end up going down here against a team in the Miami Dolphins who have one victory in the first half of the season.
And Rex Grossman steadier, but the same results. Mike Shanahan will deal with his first.
Yeah, you know what? It's a team game. We understand that. And Rex had a bad interception down in scoring position. I thought he was really good today. I'll give him a lot of credit.
Matt Moore keeps for a first down and stays in bounds.
And on the other side, let's give that guy some credit. AFC Player of the Week last week when we did against Kansas City. Has been a career backup. Watch this fake. Had everybody faked out. It's all the guys to the right. 3 tight ends out there. Got the Redskins playing the run, and Matt Moore hides it, and then smart enough to stay in bounds and keep the clock ticking. And
stepped right in.
It up.
Chad Henne injured that shoulder against San Diego as we near the 2-minute mark. He's working through and rehabbing. Out for the remainder of the season. This is Matt Moore's team. 2 minutes remaining here in South Florida. Rex Grossman 21 out of 32 with 2 interceptions with 2 minutes to go. The Dolphins. Daniel Thomas, they are that far away from their second win of the season. There is a flag down.
Third and final charge timeout. Washington, a 30-second timeout.
All right, so let's see what the flag is about, as we also have a timeout down on the field.
Yeah, you got to be happy for that guy, Tony Sperano, right there. Of course, Dansby, the hero in this one with the big interception.
There's no charge timeout on the play. Personal foul. Face mask, number 30. Defense, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So Carl Jeffers clears things up for us as Laurent Landry has called for the penalty. So don't count the timeout, and the Dolphins move forward.
And you know what? It wasn't just the interception for number 58 there, Carlos Dansby, who's having a good old time cutting a rug over there on the side. Look at that move by Wake. Oh yeah, there you go, Daddy.
You know, and Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, talked about guys. He said when you're not winning, sometimes players tend to go individual. Hey, I'm worried about just doing my thing. And they've pulled together the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're playing their best football. They are an ascending team. We talked about it. And Dansby, not only the pick, had a sack, had 9 or 10 tackles. The guy was everywhere for the Dolphins defense.
Thomas inside the 20. Daniel Thomas, and the Dolphins at one time winless on their way to their second straight. The Colts remain winless as they lost today to Jacksonville, and that is the final timeout for the Washington Redskins. Today's game is a Mike Burks production directed by Tom Yohe, the associate director Brian Biederman, broadcast associate Matt Saldana. Mark Sosna helps out with graphics and sweeps up the truck. John Branco, an old South Florida television hand, helping us up in the booth along with Emmett McGuire and our spotter James Petralco. And whenever I make a mistake, James is the guy you blame, the spotter, right? It's his fault. Frank Phillips, our tech manager, we appreciate his help with the crew and all the guys and girls who work so hard every weekend to bring you the best in the National Football League. Thomas will carry and bring up third down. And the doubleheader continues with the Giants and 49ers, the Lions and Bears. America's Game of the Week on Fox. And next week, the Dolphins, with a winning streak, will face the Buffalo Bills, the Bills who got smashed today by the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys are finding their way for sure. It was fun being there last week.
And then the Dolphins go to Dallas on Thanksgiving.
That's right. Some big games. How about the Fox game on Thanksgiving? Are you kidding me? That one's going to be
Lions and Packers.
And Packers.
Dolphin fans would be interested, Tim, since the Packers are the only unbeaten team, and it comes up every time a team hits a certain point of the season. I know what kind of chance on 3rd and 1 as Thomas fails to get the first down. What kind of chance you give the Packers to run the table?
I give them a great chance. I think that it's not going to be easy. I mean, they got some very difficult games left, but the way Aaron Rodgers is playing the quarterback position right now, and the way he's distributing the ball, and he's just almost flawless. Every week he's giving you 110 rating. He is a true superstar. And when you have that at that position, the most important position and the hardest position, in my opinion, to play in pro sport, you got a shot every week to run the table.
And for the Redskins, Mike Shanahan, I guess he'll stay with Rex Grossman, but their future quarterback a major question mark.
Yeah, definitely. And I would certainly stick with Rex based on his performance today.
And on 4th and 1, Dolphins with the clock running. Of course, the question mark at quarterback for Miami beyond this season, something Matt Moore is trying to help answer.
There's his offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, and that's got to feel good. I mean, these guys grind. You can't imagine the grinding hours, whether you're winning or losing, but the time spent in the office and trying to get it right. 53 guys on the roster, the guys on the practice squad, every coach, every trainer, every manager. And Tony Sperano said it. Look, he's been waiting 7 weeks. He said it last week to see his guys with a smile on their face. He gets it 2 weeks in a row. Hard work paid off. Love to see it.
So they're out of the quicksand, the Dolphins, as Reggie Bush put it. They're climbing the mountain, as Carlos Dansby put it. And on 1st down for the Redskins, across the 40 as the clock ticks down. 3-2-1. Blast off Miami. Back-to-back wins for the Dolphins. Reggie Bush with a couple of touchdowns. For Tim Ryan, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching the NFL on Fox.